What's up, chums? Sharky here, and welcome back to the Shark Bites podcast.
Hello.
I tell you what, my brain has been so full this past week and a half with all
Head
the
no empty.
no empty. I've had so much training. I'm trying to remember everything. Ugh.
You training.
So, yeah, your nozzle's clogged. We got to talk about your 3D printer every episode. You know that.
Hey, we haven't talked about it in a
I
while.
brought it up. I'll take the credit for bringing it
Thank you. I've been holding back.
up.
I don't know what I did because I don't leave the the heat on the nozzle turned up to where it would clog and burn.
Mhm.
But for some reason, when I was changing out filaments, which sometimes it fights a little, that's normal. At least I hope it is. And I go put the black filament in, and I hear a gear grinding noise when it gets to the end. I'm like, that ain't normal, and nothing's coming out. So
Mm-mm.
now I have to order a very, very, very thin, extremely long needle to shove up in that hole and hope it works.
How much is this thing costing you? You've had to buy new filament, you've had to buy
Well, filament's just so I can make more pretty things.
but like I mean you've had some that like you the machine messed it up and you basically lost the
Well, that's
filament.
more just on my end with where I've messed up. Like when I did a circus elephant and I accidentally changed the Z axis.
No.
So then all his legs and his trunk fell off.
That's so
So now I
sad.
have a leg. So now I have a trunkless, legless, multicolored elephant sitting on the table next to me.
Oh my god.
He's my emotional support elephant.
He's an amputee.
His name is Fumbles.
Nice. That's cute.
But I mean, filament's just gonna be an always cost. And you have to expect that you're gonna get spaghetti sometimes.
Good to know.
But uh so far, like the costs themselves, other than buying filament, which anyone with a 3D printer will know, like it happens, you know. That's
Yeah.
something you kind of expect going into it. Like when you do any crafting, you have to keep buying supplies.
Yep. Yeah.
Or when you see that new thing for this one craft you like, and it's like, ooh, but that's different. That has one extra color.
One extra color that I want to try. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying a new craft that Kalani has done before, which is perler beads art, like perler bead art. And I bought like a kit that has like the pegboards and everything, and um we were talking about like buying bead colors and stuff.
Good
But
luck.
I'm excited though. Like I think it'll be
I mean, it is fun to do.
yeah, cuz I want like art for my walls and stuff.
I mean, you could have always commissioned
I
me.
mean, yeah, which I still will for like stuff that's like more advanced probably.
It's like, this has 4 colors? That's too many.
Well, and you probably have colors that I don't have, so
I have so many beads everywhere.
I thought you were going to say flavors.
I got so many flavors of beads everywhere.
That would be an interesting idea. Flavored beads.
Well, some of them have names like raspberry.
I have so many flavors, let me tell you.
I mean,
But
are flavors not just another word for
colors.
whatever? Exact colors, flavors, same difference.
Smells. It's all the same, really.
Exactly.
Let's get into the topic for today. Um, so I was inspired by the Distractable podcast. If some of you have heard of that, or if you haven't, it's Markiplier, Wade, and Bob do a podcast together. And they did an episode, I think was it this week or last week?
I want to say,
I think it was this week.
I think it was last week because wasn't this week the one with the Wade's words?
I thought that was last week.
Was it?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. I just looked it
I
up.
don't listen to them in order.
I don't either, but I do think it was this week's Monday that was the FU energy.
Well, either way,
Oh, we're almost at 10 minutes.
I'm almost free to cuss.
Yeah. We just have like another uh like 60 seconds. Not
And then I'm
even.
then I'm free to cuss.
Okay, hang on. It's almost there. Okay, we're at
Ye
10 minutes. Okay. So
Fuck yeah!
today today's topic is fuck you energy. We're kind of copying distractible, but I got some things I need to talk about. So,
Same.
what does this mean? So, I'm going to break it down for you. Basically, fuck you energy is like any time that like somebody has said or done something to you that you were really just like, or a situation where you're just like, fuck this, or like fuck you, and you just like are full of rage and you just want to go off and rant about it. um this happened to me today, but I think I'm gonna let Kalani go first.
Oh, I get the honor of going first?
Yeah, because I gotta think a little bit.
Now, I'm not 100% sure if this technically counts, but it's gonna count for today.
Okay.
Let me, get a sip of soda.
Uh-oh.
So, me, Vesper, and Ree went to a psychic festival over the weekend. We
Oh
went there
yeah,
last Saturday.
I saw Vesper's post on Instagram about it.
I'm never on Instagram, so
That's okay. I thought the stuff that they got was cool, though.
oh, it was awesome. Kind of wish I'd have bought something, but I'm a broke ass
Anyways,
bitch.
same.
So, so there was someone who I guess technically like they I don't know if there's a better term, but like they could pick up on people's energies and they did some tarot card readings. So Vesper and Ree went first. Theirs was a little generic but good, kind of different than your regular card reading.
Uh huh.
I sit down. Now, the whole time she keeps turning to me and whoever's sitting next to me, when they would switch off.
Mhm.
And they kept saying stuff about, like, "You're so serious. You need to laugh, smile, enjoy life." And I'm just like,
Okay.
"Okay." I mean, I have a resting bitch face, so.
Same.
So, it's my turn. She asked my birth date. Okay. That way she could tell what sign I was. Now, I am an Aquarius. Sorry, I thought I was gonna burp. So, she's going through. Now, before I fully get into it, a little joke that's been going on between me, Ree, and Vesper is ever since I got my tattoo, the sun and moon,
Yeah,
which I love, uh,
it turned out good.
it did. I always pull the sun or moon card for myself.
Mhm.
Not even intentional, like all cards flipped over, fully shuffled, I always get the sun or moon card.
Yeah.
So she does the reading. The card in the place to represent me was the sun. So we look at each other, we're laughing, it's stupid.
Mhm.
She looks at me like I'm like a chicken with my head cut off. I don't know why, but that just made me mad. So she's like, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" "I take care of my grandpa. I am paid for this. But, he has Alzheimer's. I take care of him. I'm only there for a few hours."
Mm.
She's like, she kept going into stuff about her past, how she took care of her mom, and it just drained the life from her and was horrible, and telling me, "You need to stop taking care of him. It's gonna just kill you. It almost killed me. It's gonna kill you."
What the fuck?
And she's
That's
like, "Why
mean.
don't you have your other family take care of him? Why don't they step up?" And he's like this because it's karma for stuff that he did in his past.
And she's talking to you like she knows you, like
Uh-huh,
your
uh-huh.
situation.
Even for a psychic, like, it was like, from what I know about psychic readings, this was completely, like, not how it should be done.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
making it
supposed to
about
keep your personal.
herself.
Exactly. And then she's like, "Oh, what town you live in?" Insert name of town. So she's like, "Oh, you live there? Why do you wanna live there? You should move off." And then she points some cards and's like, "You said you're married? Your husband's gonna leave you if you stay in that town, and you guys are just gonna break up. It'll be divorce. Is it really worth it?"
That is so
And then she goes
mean.
on to say that because her husband cheated on her with someone from my town, that it's like, "Okay, I still like this town, believe it or not. And I like the festival that's about to happen."
I
She
hate it
looked
when
at me
people talk like that.
like I was stupid.
Yeah.
"Let me enjoy stuff, you dumb bitch."
I hate it when people make everything about them. Like, because they had a bad experience, you will too.
Like, to do tarot card readings and psychic readings, yeah, you can give suggestions based off of life experience, but you're supposed to be impartial.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, the spirits are telling me. I'm only saying what." No, you're putting in your life experience. Because I did my own card reading later that said that she was full of shit.
Ma'am, that is an opinion.
E exactly. But
Jeez.
if it weren't for Vesper and Ree being there, I would have punched her.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's so rude to say that.
I was like, "I gotta be civil." But,
Jeez.
oh, it made me so we had to leave shortly after. I just kept going off about it,
Yeah, I
and
need to
I
leave.
was
I'm seeing red. I gotta go.
but fuck you, like, you should not be at a psychic festival if you ain't even gonna do what you're there to do correctly.
Oh my
I
gosh.
ain't asking for you to be 100% professional, like this and that, because 'cause we're all having fun, but
You
you
just
fucking ruined my day.
you just reminded me of you awoken a memory from my brain.
Good,
Okay,
good.
I gotta tell this one.
Do it.
So, let me back up a little bit. Okay. So, I would say like one thing that always makes me, you know, give the fuck you energy is whenever somebody makes a comment about my weight or says like, "Oh, you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't, you should eat a salad." Yeah, you should eat a salad. I hate it
Are
when
you sure
people
you should be eating that brownie? I mean, look at you.
Are you
That
sure
kind of
are you
stuff.
sure you want to wear that? You shouldn't be wearing that. It doesn't look good on you. Like, what the fuck? That's always triggered me. Even my own family, like my grandma and stuff, has said stuff like that. And I'm like, fuck you. It's none of your business what I do, what I eat. Like, anyway, so that's a little side tangent, but that's one thing that always pisses me off. But when you were talking about that lady, it reminded me of somebody that I used to work with at the nursing home, and she was like a way older lady. She was like in her 70s and was like not retired, like she was still working, which is fine. I mean, some people never retire, but um she kind of had this attitude of like, I've worked here since forever. I can say and do what I want kind of thing,
Mhm.
which I'll get into more of that on what happened today. But anyway, so she would just say things like offhand comments when I was working there that I'm like, it gave off like, you know, definite fuck you vibes. Like, she would say, I mean, for me, she would say stuff like, oh, well, you're young, so you don't understand this. Or like, you don't know what that is, or you don't know what this means. I'm like, yes, I do. And she'd just be like, oh. I, just little stuff like that. Just, oh my gosh. I just wanted to yell at her the entire time.
Ugh.
You ever have people like that, like older people that think you don't know what the fuck you're doing all the time?
I've had older people talk to me in the way of, "You're a millennial, you don't know what this stuff is," and they show, like, a rotary phone, and I'm like, "I have one in my house, I know how to use them. That's this."
Yeah.
Or, "Oh, you don't know what this stuff is, you millennials are just so sheltered." It's like, "Mm, sorry, I don't like, just randomly shooting people for shits and giggles."
I think like there was one thing she said, we were talking about like a band from the 70s or something, and she was like, "Oh, I love this song. It's such and such." And I was like, "Oh, I love that song." Cuz I mean, I played like Guitar Hero and stuff. I've heard
Yeah.
70s and 80s music. I really like 80s rock and stuff.
Well,
And I
that and usually we would hear this music from our parents.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I love that song." And she's like, "Honey, you weren't around when it came out. You probably don't even know like that band." And I was like, "Okay, like I do. I just said like I've heard it before."
Mhm.
There was
Just
also
because you weren't alive then doesn't mean you can't.
this other time where sometimes on Sundays we would have like Catholic mass for like those who wanted to go, like the residents and stuff. And I'm not a Catholic. I wasn't raised Catholic. I know hardly anything about it, but I am a Christian. And she told me like that she was a Catholic, and we were taking the residents to mass and everything. And the entire time, they just, her and like a bunch of other people were just making me feel like really left out, like in what was going on. Like, I'm trying to think. So I kind of just like sat in the corner, like awkwardly. But like they do some of the same kind of things that, other Christian denominations do. And I was like, "Oh, I know what that is, Oh, I could, you know, um be a part of, whatever's going on." Like I wanted to. And she was like, "Oh, honey, if you're not Catholic, you can't take communion, or you can't do this or that." And I was like, "But I'm a
It's not
Christian. Like we do that
that's
in
not how that
my
works.
denomination too. Like why can't I do this?" And she was like, "Well, you're not Catholic." I was just like,
That's
this doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I,
that's not how that works.
I know. It's just weird stuff like
That
that.
and if you ask me, which I'm gonna get so much hate for this, uh, being Catholic compared to Christian is just Christianity with extra steps
It's more like
and a lot of stand up, sit down.
yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's more like structured, and there's more things that you have to do. But yeah, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you're making me feel like I can't enjoy things. Like, anyway, so that was that experience. Did you have any others that you wanted to share before I get into what happened today?
Mm, something I can't stand. I'm not sure if it's really fuck you energy, but when people tell me that I'm going to hell just because I'm gender fluid, I'm bi, or because I'm pagan.
I can't stand people like that.
Like, okay.
They have no right to do that.
That and people just making assumptions when they find out that basically just because I'm a witch.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, "Oh, you do this, you do that. Oh, I bet you slaughter poor animals."
Like they
No,
don't
but I'm about
even
to slaughter you.
they don't even bother to like get to know you or
It's
anything.
like it's like, fun fact, let me ruin your favorite holidays that were all based off of pagan rituals and celebrations.
Oh my gosh, that's
You
a whole
you
nother episode.
you gonna try and ruin shit for me? Uh-uh. Fuck you. I'm gonna point it out. 'Cause I did that to my dad, which I love the man, he is a good man, but he was getting on to me because I don't go to church because he doesn't know that I'm pagan,
Your
but I
dad
do
cracks me
technically.
up. Side note.
He is such a goofball. You kinda can't not love him, but also just roll your eyes and shake your head.
He's such a weirdo.
But he doesn't know about me being pagan, which I'd rather just not tell him.
Yeah.
Now, technically, I don't not believe in God. I'm kind of in that in between area.
Well, you don't have the same beliefs as them, as your parents.
I don't do the Christianity. I work with deities and such,
Mhm.
but I do still technically believe in God.
Mhm.
But I don't follow a structured thing.
But trying to
But
explain that to them, like,
exactly. But so I can't remember what it was, but I think it was coming up on uh oh what was it? Christmas one year. And
oh
my dad
lord.
was like, "Oh, you need to." Uh-huh. You know where this is going. And he's like, "Oh, you need to start coming to church with me." And I'm like, "I don't do that." He's like, "But it's almost Christmas." And I look at him like, "Christmas is based off of the pagan celebration of Yule."
What did he say?
He just kind of looked at me and I'm like, "Yeah, the whole putting a wreath on the door, decorating a Christmas tree, all that, Yule log.
If I
Yeah, all
had
that's pagan."
if I had a dollar for like every quote unquote Christian holiday that was like derived from pagan tradition, I'd have probably at least $20.
And it all comes from certain leaders and stuff, usually in power, in
Yeah.
different areas when they would basically were trying to switch things over because they didn't like this other religion being on top.
I
So it's like, "Oh, you can
honestly
have your celebration, but here, let's it's for this," and then it just became what we know now.
I did some research on it because Vesper and I were talking about oh, what holiday was it?
Easter?
No, I think it was Halloween. We were talking about Halloween,
Yes.
and I was shocked. I was like, "Huh." Like there's such a like combination of like Christian and like people always say, in church and stuff that like, oh, Halloween is evil, blah blah blah. But it actually has like Christian and pagan roots that are
Mhm.
like intermixed and people don't acknowledge that. And I was like,
That when people will say that Halloween's the devil's holiday, it's like, actually, it's based off of Samhain, I believe I'm saying that correctly,
yeah,
which is the celebration of the final harvest.
yeah, like it's so much deeper than what people think.
Yeah,
But well, I'm
but
sorry that
I
you experience that from people like telling you that you're this and that because that's
well,
just not
the
cool.
bright side is my brother's daughter-in-law, she's like 8, maybe 9. Uh, she looked at me and she's like, "Why do you like crystals?" And I just looked at her, I'm like, "I'm a witch." She goes, "That's amazing.
And they're
I
pretty.
wanna." Mhm. And she goes, "I wanna be a witch," and her mom just looked at me and's like, "I don't need this started with her dad." And
Don't talk
I'm
to
like,
me or my
"Too
son
late."
ever again.
Well, my brother doesn't care, but
Yeah,
he's like, "I don't care." He knows about this stuff,
yeah,
but the mom doesn't wanna deal with the daughter's actual dad, and I'm like, "The kid asked me stuff, I'm gonna tell her."
yeah,
I'll
that's
tell her the more
funny.
PG version, but still.
Oh man.
You ready to get into your big "fuck
Oh
you"
my
story?
gosh. Yeah. So I apologize if like I talk over you, but I gotta get this out.
Go for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for those of you who have been following and if you haven't, basically I just moved jobs. I got a new job. I started last Monday and I've only been there for like a week and a half. And everything's been going pretty well and I'm not saying I'm going to leave or anything. Like everything's going fine, but so I noticed some things that were going on today that made me extremely angry, and I vented to my boyfriend after work and I was just telling him everything that I thought was going on and just okay, so let me start with Friday last week. So I'm trying to think of how
Take your
to like
time.
to word this. You heard my
I heard
audio.
them.
Okay, so you already know about all this, but I'm just gonna get into
Yes.
it. Okay, so Friday, this company that I work for now, they order lunch for all of the office every Friday. I've never worked anywhere else that has done that, so this was like really cool to me. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. Like, not only do we get a paycheck, but we get free lunch every Friday. So they ordered like barbecue or something, I think it was. And I thought it was just our little team that was getting it. I didn't realize that like the whole office block was going to get some. So what people did, like we set it up right in like the kitchen or whatever.
Mhm.
And then my coworkers like grabbed their food and then like disappeared. I have no idea like where they went. And mind you, like last week I didn't have a badge. All of this is like high security access. So like you need a key card to get in the doors. And I didn't have one, so I was piggybacking off of my coworkers. And they like totally disappeared and kind of just left me like in the other office block and I couldn't get out without like asking someone. But so they got their food and left, and then I got my food, and I kind of just didn't know where to go. So I just sat in like I guess the other office blocks break room, and
Mhm.
there was people in there that I didn't know like talking to each other like they knew each other, but they were all looking at me like who is she? Like why is she sitting over here? It was mega awkward. I was just kind of like sitting in the corner eating my food and stuff and kind of I was just hurt. I was kind of a little hurt cuz I didn't know like where to go and I just felt left out a bit. But I didn't think too much about it until like today. So let's see what happened in between that. I don't know what they were talking about, but like I heard an offhand comment from one of the ladies that I don't like and I'll get into why, but she's kind of got an attitude problem, like she's just always really grumpy for some reason. And
Hmm.
I heard her say, I don't know, and again, I don't know what they were talking about, but I was kind of like, huh, that's weird. Like, why would she say that? She said, well, Kate doesn't count. So, like, I don't know what they were talking about, like if it was a joke or I don't know, but I was just like, huh, that's weird. So then today, first thing I get there in the morning at 8 a.m. and I I think I mentioned this, but I got in trouble for leaving 5 minutes early yesterday we had like our big boss come in, and I guess like I left before he got a chance to talk to me, but I was mentally drained for the day, so I was like, I want to I want to
Mhm.
leave, and I always come in early, so I was like, it's probably not a big deal, I'll just leave, like 5 minutes, whatever. So apparently, like, they warned me about like leaving early or whatever. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then the second thing, and this was like right as I get there in the morning, and I'm just like, oh my God. So, and I'm not blaming the messenger. I was just kind of irritated about it.
Mhm.
And I kind of just shut up for like the rest of the day. But anyway, so then the second thing was that I got in trouble for having my headphones. I have like these Raycon earbuds, not a sponsor, but maybe someday. Um,
Hopefully.
yeah. So I have these little Raycon earbuds. They're Bluetooth. I can walk around. I can, go to the bathroom and still have them in. And I was connecting them to my computer because we can't have our phones like out because it's like, confidential area, whatever. And I was listening to music on them because all day, every day, my coworkers are all talking mostly about stupid shit that I don't care about. And I don't want to
Mhm.
listen to that all day. So I had them in, and she was like, yeah, we're not allowed to like have headphones in, like we used to, but like something happened and we're not allowed to do that anymore. And I was like, I was starting to get the fuck you going at this time. I was like, okay, I can't have my headphones, I can't leave early, like what else are you gonna tell me? So I go to my desk and I'm just kind of grumpy, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to write an email. I know my rights. As someone with ADHD, I know my rights. And I'm going to contact the manager about this and see if I can get an exception for me because uh music, or like just having, I have noise canceling headphones. So these are like, they drown out, background noise and stuff, and I need them to focus on work. Like I find it very hard to work without some kind of, like music or just like white noise, something to drown out like all the office noises and people talking and blah blah blah. So I
Yeah.
reached out to the manager, and I was like, I was professional even though I was kind of angry and irritated at this point. I was trying to keep it professional, and I was just like, hi, I was wondering if like I can get, a disability accommodation. I have ADHD. I need headphones to focus on work. And they were like, we'll forward this to like the big boss that came in today. And we'll let you know what he says and we'll get back to you. And I was like, okay, fine. So, I'm still waiting to hear back on that. I'll let you know what happens. But so the thing that upset me, so I'm already kind of, irritated and just like, ah, crap, like I can't have my headphones, like what am I supposed to do? Like to focus. I chew gum also. Gum is another thing that helps me focus, but
Mhm.
um so my coworkers, I'm sitting at my desk, and for some context, sorry, this is such a long story, such a big build up.
Hey, it's fine.
So I'm sitting at my desk and I have like a cubicle. So if you're not like over in my area, you can't really see me. And I think that's why this person said what they said, because I don't think they knew that I was there, like in the room, because you can't see me from where they were sitting. But
Mhm.
I was there and I did not have headphones in so I could hear. Um and I heard my coworker say like, "Oh, look, like we're all wearing black today except Kate. I think she's wearing like gray or something. I don't know." And then this other lady goes, "Yeah, that means we're a team." Like it wasn't what they said, it's how they said it. And it came off as very like excluding, and like the way that they said like we're a team instead of like all of us, and
Yeah.
they said some other things going off of that too, but I was just like, damn, like why would you even say that? Like that's such a weird thing. They said like, "Oh, she's not coordinated with us. She's not in sync with us." I was like, "I'm new. I just started this damn job." I didn't say anything, but I was just thinking at my desk. I'm like, "Damn. Like, how do you think that makes me feel like sitting over there?" And I know it's stupid, like it's just about an outfit, but I've literally wore black yesterday and only one other person wore black. Not that it matters, but I was just like, how am I supposed to take that?
No, it's not that it matters, but still, they're finding something small to be like, fuck this person, right?
I really
When in
feel
reality, fuck them, they suck.
I really feel like there's a possibility they're probably talking about me behind my back or when I'm not around. Because I'm new. I feel like they're picking on the newbie. That it literally feels like that, like in a movie, you know?
Hmm,
And I have done nothing to them. I've been nice, I've been professional. I don't do shit like that. I didn't say anything that would like piss them off. But since I got there, these three people specifically that all hang out together and talk and whatever, I really feel like they're all against me for some reason and they don't like me cuz they're always like giving me like the look, like dirty looks, like if I make eye contact with them or whatever. And then like I'll ask them a question and they'll just give me like a vague answer like, "Oh yeah, it's over there," or something like that, you know.
something stupid.
And one of them has literally not talked to me the entire time that I've been there. Like not one word. Not nice to meet you, not anything. She just gives me like a scowl every once in a while. I'm like, the fuck did I do to you? I don't know. I don't know.
Someone pissed in their Cheerios.
I sent out an email to everybody that I work with, like my team. I sent them a picture of my aquarium, and almost like actually everybody in the office emailed me back and was like, "Oh, that's cool. Like it looks like it's a lot of work to maintain and blah 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 blah." They were just like, saying
The
it,
typical stuff you would expect.
yeah, saying it was cool, except the one person who has not talked to me a single time since I've been there.
Of course.
She didn't say anything. Nothing. Not a single smiley face, nothing. I'm just like, wow. Okay. So
Hmm,
to say that I had, you know, major fuck you energy today is an understatement. I was seething angry, all of that just combined into one. And I'm not going to lie, I literally went to the bathroom and cried like during work. I was so upset about hearing that. Like as they said that, I started crying at my desk and I had to leave, like walk out. And
you would shit to them.
I know it's not like that serious, but it was like that combined with all of the excluding that they had been doing prior that really just like it honestly dredged up past hurt from like being bullied and stuff. And I was like, this is the type of shit that high schoolers do. You women are 40. Like,
Hmm.
fucking act like it. We're not in high school, okay? Like, it amazes me that there's still toxic work environments like that where people talk about everybody and it's bullshit. I hate that. I don't do that to other people either. Like, I know I talk shit about them to you, but
Hmm.
like, I would never talk shit about someone to another coworker where it could hurt their reputation. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Never. And I was so hurt and so angry and I just did not know how to handle it. It got better as the day went on. We got lunch today and I felt better afterwards.
That's good.
I had a good talk with my one of my bosses today too, so Not about that, but yeah,
Just in general.
just in general. And I told Juimi, I was like, if this continues or gets worse, if I hear anything else, I'm taking it to the manager.
I don't blame
I
you.
don't want to be that person, but I'm gonna be that person if I feel threatened, you know?
There's no sense in letting it become a toxic work environment.
Right. And I was talking to my sister too. I was like, I think it's just because I'm new that they're treating me like this. I feel like the longer I stay there and I, you know, learn how to do everything, maybe it won't be as bad, but I'm gonna say something if it gets any worse. So
Mhm.
don't worry. But
If I have to, I'll come down to Texas and I'll kick some ass.
but I was just shocked because I was just like, these women are older than me. They're twice my age and they're acting like mean girls. I'm like, what the fuck?
It
It
seems like the people from the movie Mean Girls had more chill than them.
it's insane. And it doesn't even stop there. You know the lady I was talking about, like from the nursing home?
Mhm.
There was shit that I saw at the nursing home, that like behavior from residents, that I was like, nobody told me they act like this. Like, this is crazy. Like, I remember in particular, there was a group of women. It's always women, man. Girls are so
Mhm.
mean. But anyway, there was like
That's why I only choose to be one half the time.
there was three women that would hang out together. They'd always have lunch together. And for context, these women, okay, they're all like in their 80s and 90s. They're fucking old, okay? Like,
Mhm.
they definitely, without a doubt, should know better, okay? There is no excuse for that. They all acted like high schoolers, I swear to you. Like, even preschoolers at times.
Hmm.
And I remember this one instance in particular. We had a resident who, I think she had not Alzheimer's, it was like dementia, some kind of
Mhm.
form of dementia. And it was really severe, so she didn't always understand like what was going on or where she was or whatever. And she came over to this group of women's table during lunch, and they just like shat on her, like not literally obviously, but they were
In a
like,
nursing home, I wouldn't be surprised.
dude, honestly. No, they were like, go away, we don't want you here. They were yelling at her like to go away and like to stop bugging them, like
Uh,
at the top of their lungs. And I was like, you don't see this shit. Like, this is, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my god. Like, these ladies, okay, are in their 90s and they're acting like they're fucking preschoolers.
uh,
Oh my god. I don't miss that job at all.
I don't blame you. I
But
wouldn't miss it either.
I am just so shocked at stuff like that. Like, people that should definitely know better and they act like that is abysmal. I cannot, my brain can't even make the words come out.
Like,
um
there's no sense in being hateful.
and they would always like berate me too, which is a whole nother thing, which I think I've talked about in a past solo episode. But there was this one lady, I swear she was fucking with me. Like, she knew that I was a good worker and she abused it. So like, she would do this thing. This is going to piss you off. Get ready. So she would do this thing where she would kick her slipper off and then make me put it back on and do it over and over again. I kid you not. So like, she would kick her slipper shoe off, whatever. And she was kind of an like a obese woman, so she was like,
Mhm.
I can't do it myself. Oopsie, you know. And the first time I did it, I put it back on. She kicked it off again, like right after.
Of
And
course.
she was like, Kate, my shoe came off again." And I was like, I put it back on. She did it again. I walked away. I was like, "You know what? Fuck this." Like, I might be naive sometimes and I might bend over backwards for people who don't deserve it sometimes, but I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I'm done.
Everyone has their breaking point.
People have done that to me my entire life. Like, because they know that the way I was taught. Like, it's to a fault, and this could be a whole nother episode. I was taught to, like, respect your elders, do what they ask you to do, blah blah blah. But I've learned as I've gotten older that they're not always right, you know?
Mhm.
Like, you don't always have to do that. You shouldn't always bend over backwards for people who don't respect you. And I've learned that as I've gotten older. But when I was younger, girl, I was a mess. Yeah.
I feel that.
Uh, we could talk about that, just like our childhoods and how we were raised, in another episode, but
Oh boy, that's a whole thing.
I didn't want to get into that in this, but that's my story.
Yeah, I don't think we want to bring up my trauma today.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. And I was talking to my sister about it too. I was like, and I won't get super into it, but just we were both, raised the same way, and we both kind of have like this thing about men. Like, our dad is like, I don't even know how to phrase it.
Old fashioned?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more
Mm.
like we were not allowed to have an opinion. Like,
Oh,
what dad says goes, and nothing else matters.
the old fashioned thinking.
Yeah, so like, if I ever expressed wanting to do something other than what my dad wanted me to do, it was like taboo. Like, you're not allowed to have an opinion. I don't care what you think. So
Ah,
any
the 70s and 60s thinking.
so it no, it's really like affected me as I've grown up, because I think of other men that way, that are in authority over me. So like my bosses, and you know basically like any dude in authority over me specifically. I always have this like irrational inferiority complex where I'm like, "Oh, nothing I say is gonna matter to him, so I just shouldn't say it," which is bullshit. Like, it shouldn't be like that, but it's how I
Yeah.
was raised, and that's just one of many things we could get into next
And
time.
stuff like that's hard to break out of.
Exactly, because you were raised that way. It's in your core of you, like your personality.
It's part of what built you into being you.
Exactly. But in the same breath, like, I'm trying to break out of that thinking of like,
Mhm.
nothing I say matters, because it's not true. And I've even had people tell me it's not true. But it's getting that out of your head that's the hard part. Was that a burp?
Yes. I was trying not to.
I still heard it. I think that's a good almost conclusion. We got a couple more minutes, but
Just ended on the burp.
I I just think of like younger me, and like I've spent so much of my life angry, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be an angry, bitter person. But there are things that people do sometimes that really just push me that way,
I feel that.
where it's like, you just you want to like scream and like cry and pull your hair out and just go crazy. I've
That's
had
why I dye my hair and I do stupid art and crafts
yeah, I've had
and get
days.
tattoos.
Yeah. I've had days like that where it's just like I just want to say fuck it, but I can't because there's too much on the line, you know?
It's the whole, "You need to take a break. Why are you so serious? You need to take time for yourself. Other people do it. Why are you doing everything?" Because if I don't do what needs done, it won't get done.
This is literally why people have addictions. Like I totally understand that now. Of like, needing an escapism of some kind to get away from people cuz like it drives you crazy.
That's part of why I do the art that I do.
Yeah, and I
It
admire
helps
that.
me to enter a different, like, set of mind thinking, and I just create, like, whole stories and scenarios while I work on some pictures,
That's how I feel when
and
I
it
listen to
helps me
music.
get away from that.
Yeah, like I gotta go somewhere else in my brain.
And that's also why I, have a friend that I RP with, so
Yeah. It's so weird. Like I've had people tell me that what I say is meaningful to them, that they relate to what I'm talking about. So when I have thoughts of like, oh, nobody cares what I have to say, it's not true. It's just straight up not true. Because I've literally had people come up to me, whether it be at a furry convention or, like people who watch my videos, people that I work with, like they've come up to me and been like, hey, that thing you said, I really relate to that. And I'm just like, I gotta hang on to that, and share what I gotta say. Cause like, I think there's something to it.
mhm.
But, anyways, whew, I feel better now. I just had
Finally
so
get that off
much.
your chest, huh?
I had so much rage, I got a headache just from, like, all of the anger and crying doesn't help. That gives you a headache, too.
Everything gives me a headache.
Yeah. I think it's also the weather. We had a bunch of rain last night, but
It was about to storm and it was lightly thundering,
did you
and
see
now
any
it ain't doing
twisters?
shit. No, not today. This evening I'll go stand outside and look for them.
Same time next week.
Exactly. Well, hey, mm, the fest is this weekend.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure when
It
that was,
always storms and we always almost get a tornado usually.
but everybody's just out there in like ponchos and stuff.
Not even that. There's people
Newspaper.
that might cover more.
Holding the newspaper. Oh my
Just
gosh.
just two cheese slices and a cracker over the bits.
A craft single.
With how some people dress up there. I I okay, this is why I like going up there. I feed off, like, the energy of it. I've done that since I was a kid,
Mhm.
and just walk around listening to the music from the different rides and watching people, it just gives me all these fun, like, ideas and stuff, and it's almost like it refreshes me for the year with, like, art ideas.
Good. Yeah, I need more like inspirational outlets.
That and it's just fun to watch the drunks.
Oh my gosh, we could do an entire episode on people watching alone. I have a
Well,
catalog.
hey, that could be next week.
Well, we got to do how we were raised next week. I'll add that to the list though.
Do it.
But I think that's going to about do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any stories of fuck you energy, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.